People always told me I had a great story to tell, a story about strength, perseverance, and how I turned my life around. And for a while, I believed that story too. I even told it proudly, on podcasts, at events, in little captions under smiling photos. I crafted it so perfectly that even I started to think it was real. But what I never told anyone was the truth behind that story. The part that didn't fit neatly into an inspiring quote or a 5-minute speech. Because the truth isn't pretty. It rarely is. My story started 3 years ago when I left everything behind, my job, my relationship, and my city, to start over. Everyone applauded my courage. They said I was brave for chasing a new life, for taking control of my happiness. On the surface, it sounded heroic, but the truth was I didn't leave because I was strong. I left because I was falling apart. Back then, I was living in a small apartment downtown. It had white walls, big windows, and the kind of silence that slowly eats at you. My relationship was crumbling. My job felt meaningless, and every day I woke up wondering why I couldn't just be happy like everyone else seemed to be. I would scroll through social media, seeing people my age buying houses, traveling the world, getting married, and there I was, barely holding it together, pretending I had a plan. When I finally left, people called it a fresh start. But in reality, it was an escape. I didn't move because I had a vision for my future. I moved because I couldn't stand my present. I told everyone I wanted to find myself, but what I really wanted was to forget who I was. The first few months were lonely. I didn't know anyone in the new city. I spent my days walking through unfamiliar streets, trying to convince myself I was happy. I'd take pictures of sunsets and coffee cups, posting them with captions like, "New beginnings," or "Healing takes time." People commented things like, "So proud of you," and "You're glowing." But what they didn't see was what happened after I hit post. They didn't see me sitting in the dark, staring at the photos on my phone, wondering when the happiness I kept pretending to have would finally show up. There was one night in particular that I'll never forget. I was sitting on the floor of my apartment with a bottle of wine and an empty notebook. I had just gotten off a video call with my mom, pretending everything was fine. After I hung up, I just broke down. I cried until I couldn't breathe. Not because of one thing, but because I finally realized I'd built my whole life around a story that wasn't true. I was trying so hard to become the strong, independent version of myself that everyone expected me to be, that I'd stopped being honest about what I really felt. That night, I wrote something in my notebook that changed me. It wasn't poetic or beautiful, it was just real. I wrote, "I don't want to be the story everyone admires. I just want to be the truth that nobody talks about." From that night on, I decided to stop lying, not just to others, but to myself. I stopped pretending I was okay when I wasn't. I reached out to old friends I had ghosted. I started therapy, something I had always told myself I didn't need. I got a job that wasn't glamorous, but made me feel human again. Slowly, piece by piece, I began to build a life that didn't need to be photographed to feel real. And the funny thing is, once I stopped chasing the story, life started giving me real moments worth remembering, not because they were perfect, but because they were mine. Like sitting on the beach alone one evening, watching the sky turn gold and realizing that peace doesn't always come with an audience. Or the time I laughed so hard with a friend that we cried. No camera, no captions, just pure, unfiltered joy. When people see me now, they still call me strong. They still say I have such an inspiring story, but they don't know the whole truth. They don't know that strength didn't come from starting over. It came from finally stopping the act. From letting go of the version of me I thought people wanted, and learning to live with the one I really am. I think that's the untold truth behind every story we see. Behind every success, every comeback, every perfect ending, there's a version of events we don't talk about. The nights we cried, the moments we doubted everything, the times we almost gave up. But those are the parts that make the story real. Without them, everything else is just a performance. So if you're listening to this and you feel like you're failing because your story doesn't look like someone else's, please remember this. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just in the middle of the chapter no one else gets to read yet. One day, you'll look back and realize that the parts you were most ashamed of were the very moments that made you who you are. The struggle is the truth, and the truth is what makes your story worth telling. And if this story resonated with you, if it made you think or feel even a little less alone, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need to hear it today. Because behind every story you see, there's an untold truth waiting to be understood.